So so now you can see there's sort of a picture in picture. So when I'm facing
Oh, yeah, there it is.
the other direction, you get
Oh,
some idea.
that's
So
good.
let's actually get started. It's time. Devin, get your stuff set up, and let's actually start just by putting everything into the center. So allow your feet to touch. Bring your head top up to its highest point. Bring your hands together in the center. Take a deep breath. We're going to start by breathing. So before you do anything, whatever activities, it's always good to fill up with a lot of energy first. Today, we're going to work on something from the second section, the turning. There's a part where we walk in a circle. And this is part of the Tai Chi form. It's something that goes into the Bagua, which is a slightly more complex idea. So with this one, breathing, remember the internal principles. We don't have to use a lot of power, but we're closing the abs and lifting the base of the torso. The tongue is connected to the roof of the mouth. And then internally, keep breathing. Internally, there's a feeling of expansion. So the more relaxed something is, the more that it can expand. So while you're breathing, try to also be increasing relaxation in the body. The same thing if you're gripping your feet. Good morning for people just joining. Get everything set up. We are just getting started. We just started a minute ago. By the way, there's a question about breathing when we do this kind of breathing practice. When I'm talking about on the inhales, closing the abs and lifting the pelvic floor, is simply an idea. If you have a different breathing pattern in mind, you can practice the breathing any way that you like. And what we just said a second ago is when you have to do activities, whatever activity it is, it's best to pause before you do and fill up with energy. If you have to go for a drive, if you have to go out into public, when you're doing something around the house, even if it's as simple as cooking, baking, you're going to be in the kitchen for some time. So keep breathing. Especially if you have to do a very external activity, you have to do something that involves a lot of lifting, movement. It's best to take the time to do the Qigong, the yin activity first to fully inflate with Qi. Remember to stretch on this as well. This is a full body stretch, so feel as if from your toes, from your heels, all the way up through your head top and fingertips, and then out to the sides. Expand your shoulders, your elbows, wrists, fingers. Let's do three more. And again, the more relaxed you are, the deeper the breathing that you can do. And the more that you can stretch as well. So feel it all the way through the circle, as if it's your arms are stretching out to the sides, your head top is pushing all the way up. I don't know, is that it? Let's go back to the center. Allow your feet to touch. Bring your hands together in the center. And then let's do a calibration, some idea of what should be happening internally. Bring the head top all the way up to the highest point. But we want to do that with the chin tucked because we can push it up taller if we raise the chin. So pushing up through the back of the neck. And then align the ears with the shoulders so that the head top is sliding back horizontally. Relax your brow. Open your vision. And then connected with this upper part of the head, also increase your awareness. Look around you. See your home, see what's inside of it. Open your nostrils sideways to breathe more and activate the corners of your mouth. Half smile is the minimum. If you like Tai Chi, you can smile more than that. Connect the tongue to the upper palate and relax the jaw. Roll your shoulders back. Feel your shoulder blades sinking towards your heels. Make your chest hollow. And when the hands are connected in this way, if this was a regular pot, like traditional Chinese martial arts posture, your hands would be to the side. Because the hands are here in the center, we want to have the elbow, the armpits open just a bit. So feel as if there's a little bit of space for the energy to travel inside the armpits. It should be relaxed. We're using the center and the core to support the upper body. So the rib cage, the torso, and the spine are being supported by the dantian. And that also allows us to relax everything from the mid-back all the way down past the tailbone. The insides of the hips are folded. The knees are bent. We don't want to have this kind of super straight leg. Allow the legs to relax. Feel the ankles have power inside of them. They're expanded. And then inside of your shoe or your slipper, your foot is forming a triangle, like the shape of a mountain inside of your foot. You can grip your toes, at least activate the big toe. And then internally, put your mind into the dantian. So relax. So these ideas we talk about, when we talk about the Tai Chi principles, keeping the head top and the tailbone, we want to be doing them the whole time we're practicing Tai Chi. So if we do some X stepping, by the way, for those that just started, you see we have a camera. I have this sort of picture-in-picture camera. So if I'm facing the other direction, you can see something. So let's take this idea of these Tai Chi principles and put them into action because as I said earlier at the beginning of the warm-up, we're going to come back and look at something from the second section, which has some Bagua principles in it. And all of the Baguazhang principles are built off of the Tai Chi principles. So we're going to do a little bit of walking in a circle today. I want to go back to the Tai Chi principles and X-stepping. We'll do a little bit more stretching. We're going to do the form up to the second section, and then we're going to come back and work on the part that has the turning with the kicks, something like this. So from X-stepping, if we go back to Tai Chi harmony, allow your feet to connect, bring your head top to the highest point. When you bring your hands together in the center, see how many of the Tai Chi ideas you can incorporate into your posture. And then relax your arms, you're gripping your feet, your head top is up. When you step back to the corner, check to see that everything is correct. The face is relaxed, the tongue is connected, the center is supporting, the tailbone is relaxed. Grip your foot. And when you step forward, the same. Grip the ground. Relax your tailbone. Returning back to the center. Stepping forward, grip, relax, breathing deep, the same long, relaxed breathing that we started with. So if you can keep those ideas while you're practicing Tai Chi, it doesn't matter what style of Tai Chi you practice. If you practice Yang style, you may learn other forms. The form that we practice is considered a long form. It's considered a classical form. But even if you learn something, the 8 form or the 24 form, all of these ideas will match and they're going to carry into the Bagua practice. So we'll come back and examine that more. Let's do a little bit of stretching. So starting from the top down, we're going to turn around the head and neck, but I want you to keep your shoulders in place. And so when you turn your head, I want you to see how far you can turn the crown chakra while keeping your shoulders in place. Remember to breathe the same long breathing that we started with. And also, instead of pushing this, allow gravity to do the work and see how relaxed you can make it. See if you can actually feel the tendons and muscles in your neck and your upper back and shoulders. Remember the breathing. In fact, on this one, if you breathe all the way into the upper tier of your lungs, into the top part of your lungs, you will feel an increase in the stretch. By the way, if you hear sound in there, keep working, remember to breathe. If you hear sound in there, that's okay. A little bit of crunching paper. This is a time when people have a lot of wrapping paper. If you hear some wrapping paper crunching in there, that's okay. If you hear crunching glass, if it sounds like somebody's stepping on glass, that's too much. So, by the way, remember, pain is one of the body's ways of saying stop. So whatever the activity is, whether we're warming up, whether we're practicing something, or even an internal principle, if we have ideas in our mind, pain means to make some kind of adjustment, to make some kind of change. Let's do the same. I want to do the same if you've already stopped doing the head turning. This time, when we practice, I want you to grip your feet into the ground as if you're bolting your feet. So activate the whole bottom of your foot. You don't have to touch your shoulders. But now when you do the head turning, I want you to imagine the same way that you locked your shoulders in place. I want you to imagine you're locking your feet and turning your head top around the pivot point of your feet. So I want you to use this head turning exercise to open your whole entire body. So pulling from your feet all the way up to the head top in all directions, as if you're growing through the center upwards. Remember the breathing. Lift the base of your torso and see if you can stretch your calves just by turning your head top. See how far down to your feet you can make the extension feel. If you haven't changed directions, do some in the other direction. By the way, this is your stretch. So any of these exercises where it feels good, you can continue. Even if we've changed to another exercise, just continue to work out. Come back to the center, take a deep breath. How many can feel it? Can you feel further down in your body than just stretching your head and neck, right? Especially maybe it's the tighter we are, the further we can feel it go down. We're gonna continue to work on that. Next, shoulders. So just turning the shoulders a little bit this way. For those of us dealing with shoulder injuries, while we do the shoulder roll, make it relaxed. See how large of a motion you can make by keeping everything relaxed. And then change directions going the other way. Remember the breathing. And then next, if you take one foot and put it in front of the other, and we're gonna take the arms wrapping all the way around to the back and then opening to them to the front. So as if I'm shifting my center line from the front foot to the rear foot. And I want you to start this one slowly with no power. I just want you to feel like your arms are nice and rubbery and you can allow them to stretch pectoralis and the anterior deltoids here. If you're not having any shoulder issues, you can allow the hands to hit in the back. The lower, the easier it is to hit. It seems like if we got it higher, but when I do this, if it's lower, it's easier. So you can add speed, but if you feel pain, remember, pain is one of the body's ways of saying stop for those of us that are working on injuries. And so, by the way, when the hands are going back, the palms are up so that the backs of the palms are hitting this way. So I want you to unroll your arm from the thumb all the way up so that your collarbone is also unrolling this way. Imagine the analogy that I used to use for those of you that were studying in Westwood is I used to say, imagine a fence post and it's in some soil or sand and you'd like to get the fence post free. Your spine is the fence post. So we're using this rocking motion as if you take the post in the ground and you want to free up all the soil around it. That's all of the stiff tissue in the back and the upper neck. Just relax, take a deep breath, come back to the center. We're going to do some turning around the center. So now that we've done this one, we're going to turn. But I want you to keep the hips and everything below locked so that there's no movement in the knees. And the same thing, I want you to imagine your spine is the center post. Your center line actually sits just in front of the spine. If you understand the human anatomy, the spine is just behind the center line. So the spine sort of turns around the center line a little bit. Grip your feet, remember to breathe. See if you can keep your face going forward while your shoulder goes under your chin. See how far you can turn. Relax your shoulders. Feel your collarbones, feel your shoulder blades. This opening up the whole upper torso. See if you can get enough power that your arms feel like they're flying off to the sides, they're floating away. Completely let everything relax. And then come back to the center. We're going to do just a few hip circles. So grip your feet as if you have two halves and there's one center line, the seam at your belt line at your waist. So keep the upper body straight and try to keep the lower body as if it's working in one unit to push through all points on the circle. Change directions if you haven't already. Remember to breathe and pause or really stretch in areas where it feels like you really need to stretch. Come back to the center. We're gonna actually, you know what? We're gonna do something else. We're gonna do a little bit of folding. We're gonna do two of these. Push your tailbone away. Relax your upper body and your spine. Breathing deep. Allow your head top to fully point towards the ground. And then remember to breathe. And wait here for as long as it takes for you to feel. You should feel in your back. If it's relaxed, you should feel the blood. You should feel the chi, the energy, moving up your spine or downwards towards gravity, whichever way you like to perceive it. Grip your feet, breathing deep. When you're ready, we're going to inflate all the way up, expanding. Keep your feet gripped so the energy is rooted. Expand all the way up with inflation with air, and then relax. We're going to do one more of those. So the same, push your tailbone back and away. Grip your feet. Completely relax your spine. Relax your head, top, and neck. Let gravity do the work. You can walk your hands backwards or forwards if you're flexible. Open your back with the breathing so that you feel the energy moving on your back. Breathing deep when you're ready, grip the ground. Use your abs to unroll the spine, inflating all the way up, and relax. Next, we're going to do some legs. So we're putting, if my feet are parallel and I step shoulder width wide, and I turn both my feet 45, put one forward, pushing this tailbone back. You can use this leg to support either touching the foot or reaching past. Try to make your spine straight. And if you don't turn your head top towards the direction your fingers are pointing, turn your chin towards your toes, or the toes to the nose, nose to the toes. Either way, you should feel a stretch. Remember to breathe.
See if you can stretch your spine as well as the back of your leg. Push your tailbone away. And then when you're ready, grip the ground, breathing to stand up. We're going to change to the other side. So the same if we go shoulder width wide. Turn both feet 45. Push the tailbone back. Sitting on the heel, reaching forward. Remember to breathe. Grip the toes on the standing foot and either straighten the spine, straighten the neck, or turn the chin towards your toes. Lift your toes up more. When you're ready, breathing, come back up to the center. We're going to do one more. If you like to do a full body stretch, if you feel your torso, you like when we're doing that turning and this opening. This next one is using Tai Chi Harmony. So going back to the beginning, allow the feet to touch, shoulders roll back, head top is pushing upwards, hands together in the center. And then the same thing, lock as much of the lower body as you can. We're going to turn the lower back. We're going to turn the mid back, upper back and shoulders, neck, head, face, eyes, and then your mind turning even further and then coming back to the center. You can coordinate this with the breathing, but you don't have to. Remember the breathing. So on this one, locking the lower body. If you feel tension on your knees, that means to dial it back or find the alignment area. Relax your tailbone, make your spine straight, turning like a spiral going upwards from the center, breathing deep to increase the stretch. Look past your target, come back to the center, relax. We're going to do one more on each side. This time, you can free the other leg, whichever direction you're turning, free the other foot so it can turn on the toe. Lock the standing leg, breathing deep, relax your tailbone, turning all the way around the center. Look as far as you can. There's no parts, just one piece, keep turning. Breathe deep and come back to the center. And now on the other side, grip the standing foot, turning, relax your tailbone, pushing up through the head top. There's no pieces, just one part. You have one body, grip the ground and twist the whole thing, looking beyond your target, breathing deep, come back to the center and relax. Before we continue, anyone have questions, thoughts, comments? This is just warming up. Let's do some Tai Chi. There was a request last week to do something from in the second section. We have a portion after we have Return Tiger, big roll back, embrace a tiger. We have Scoop the Moon from the ocean. We have this kick where we pull, kick, and then we turn 1, 2, 3, and we end with another pull kick. That's what we're going to look at today, and that's right towards the end of the second section. So if you're not there, that's okay. It's something considered a trip to the future because it's an important set of movements, and we'll come back to it more. Let's do the Tai Chi form, first and second section, and then right at the end of the second section, we'll see the part we're going to work on, and we'll look at that today. Meanwhile, hopefully we'll see if this other camera, I don't know how well it works, but I'm going to start facing north. Also, at some point, when we do the form, when I'm facing away from the camera, when I'm facing in that direction, we'll call that north. When I'm facing the camera, that's south. East and west are to the side. So because learning the form without being near somebody to see the direction they're turning is very challenging, and it's especially challenging on the camera because is it mirrored? Which direction am I facing? Which direction is he facing? We don't even have the sun. You can't tell which way it's going. So we're going to use the cardinal directions, and this week I didn't get to making it, but I'm going to make a compass rose, something that we can put on the ground here so you can see directionality, because it's important. Allow your feet to touch. Relax your tailbone. Bring your hands together in the center. And then you should be able to auto-calibrate by putting the mind into the center. Grip your standing foot, open shoulder width wide, control the step. Sink your tailbone, the hands float. And then sink. And then keep the palm, stay expanded. Relax your shoulders and elbows, knees. Breathing deep, this is grasp the sparrow's tail. We're gonna draw a circle on the side. Square step forward, ward off. Breathing deep, this is grasp the sparrow's tail. Stepping forward, ward off. Breathing again, roll back, turn the feet. We're facing west. Join the palms together. This is G, shortwave power. Breathing. This is An, long wave power. Turning around the center, so U, Yo, Pan. Shuang, An, means double push. Horizontal split hands. Turn the feet 90 degrees, we're facing west. Dialsha. Single whip. Turn. Turning back to the north. This is Tiso, Sanchi. Lift hands. Split. Square step. Turning 90 degrees to the west. This is crane. Opening the wings. Soe, Pipa. Loshi. Press to the center. Holding the moon in the chest. Shift back. Cover. The thumb goes up the center line. Everything arrives at the same time. Punch. Ban Shui. Corner. Parry. Focus the power to the front and the center. Facing forward. Turning around the center, keeping the circle expanded with palm. Press. Press. Turn one foot, then the other. This is return tiger to mountain. Bring the feet together. Form a T. Right foot steps to the square facing south. Center line is vertical. Take a deep breath. Let everything relax. Keeping the correct shape. Turn the feet accurately. Press. Push. Look left. Glance right. Shuang, An. Turning to the east. This is horizontal split hands. Hook. Take as many steps as you need for a turn back to look at the moon. Repulse the monkey 3 times. 1, breathing. 2. 3, opening to the side. This is Sherifei. Heidi Zhang is needle at the bottom of the seat. Keep your back and your neck straight. Even if you tilt, San Tombe. Block, punch, kick. Square step forward, line. Shui, head top upright, Di Bo Hua. Shang Bu Li. Press. Push. Look left. Glance right. Double press.
horizontal split. Hook, this is side whip, this is cloud hands in the second section. 3 times on each side, press right. Breathing, step, press left. Number 2, press right, breathing, step, press left. Number 3, press, step and press. Hook. This is corner whip. Since I'm off screen, I'll move. This is Gao Panma. Reach, turn, relax your tailbone, breathing deep, grip your feet. Turning again, scoop, brush, step and press. Breathing, grip the ground. Make your spine straight. Press. Brush knee, straight step. Punch. There's a rock step to turn. Block. Punch. Kick. Square step. Line. Shui. This is left deflect. So while we turn the waist, still looking in the cardinal direction. Kick. Da Li is big rollback. Keep your spine upright through the transition. Breathe deep. Da Li is big rollback. Embrace a tiger. Scoop the moon from the ocean. Kick. Recycle the energy. Continue turning. 2 winds in the ear. Stepping back. Connect left side. Kick left side. Turning. 1, 2, 3. Connect with your right side. Kick with your right side. Turning back west. Block punch kick. Lan. Shui. Facing west. Breathing deep. Rufeng. Si Bi. Turning back north. This is the end of the second section. So we're closing the form. Return tiger to mountain. Block. Punch right. Punch left. Bring the feet back together in the center. Take a deep breath. Before we continue, questions, thoughts, comments? Okay, so let's actually just look at that section from that part from the second section at the end. That's coming out of a posture. We have 2 winds in the ear, air phone, on air. And that posture actually is kind of an interesting one. We can talk about it briefly before we go into the stepping. That one can be, if your opponent has defenses, if their defenses are open this way, you can use the 2 winds going in the ear to go between their defenses. If they're here, going up through the center, and then turning your wrists into the side this way. But if their defenses are closed, you can use this to go around the defenses. And the striking points are either above the ear, next to the temple, underneath the ear, somewhere here. And very similar to Embrace a Tiger, this power is turning out from the center, and there's a feeling this way. So when we get from here, the step back, we have this arm forming a half circle this way, and then forming another half circle here. So the transition from, if I, the direction we do it in the form, if we're here, when this is stepping back, this is blocking, there's power. So when I have 2 winds in the ear, if something is coming towards my center from this angle, when I step back, I want to have space, and I'm trying to connect to it with my hand. And then I can pull and kick. So the first movement, right, Aaron, that looks good. There's when we used to practice over at the school in Westwood, they would have
something far more rigid, right? A kick that's like this. But this kick can be done a zillion different ways. The way that TC taught it, the simplified way, was when you step back, you make a half circle here with this arm from the elbow to catch and kick. So it's catch and kick, right? Just like this. But then the extended way that he would teach it, and we'll come back to kicking in a minute, is once you catch with this left hand, you transfer it to the right hand, and you can have this bigger kick. It's not important how you practice. In Tai Chi, by the way, we say that the kick's never going above waist level. There may be, maybe for the competition, something we show off some kind of flashy kick that goes up. But in the real world, if people fighting, boxing, sparring, if your foot's up here, you're off balance. Anybody can push you over. So that opponent, you may be the best taekwondo axe kick guy around. Okay, great. It's dangerous. Once your foot's up here, you have no balance. So we keep the kicks. Kicks are always aimed at groin, knee, ankle, and foot. Kick can be very small, this down here. So that's why this is the ordering of the postures versus what we're doing in the postures. So we have two winds in the ear. We can make a very small kick, catch the opponent and hit. By the way, the timing for this one is like ringing a bell. It's easier to see if there's a person, but if you pull in one, it's going at the same time, so that the opponent is getting their center compromised and they're getting kicked at the same time. This is the idea. So we want to have this kind of timing. The extended version is if somebody is reaching, right, if there's something coming to my center, and I'm doing two winds in the ears, right? And I'm here, and I step back. When I catch this thing that's coming in, I want to transfer it to my other hand so I can kick it. So let's practice that one because that's kind of the extended one, and then we'll go into the walk. So if we face sideways and we have two winds in the air, relax your shoulders. When you step back, standing on the right foot, pull with your left side, kick with your left side. This other hand can just rest by the dantian for now. So repeating, step back, pull, kick. Step forward, wind in the ears. Step back, pull, kick. Step forward, wind in the ears. Step back, pull, kick. Step forward, wind in the ears. Step back, kick. Step forward. Use some power. Kick. Back. Kick. What determines if it's a toe kick or a heel kick? Anybody know? So we don't have to waste a lot of time guessing. It's the application. Where are you kicking, right? If the person is trying to get away and you're hitting here, you can toe kick, snap. But if you're kicking at their shin, if you want to kick their shin to make it painful, you don't want to use your toes, they're delicate. You can heel kick. So you can practice either way. From here, step back, pull, kick, heel kick. Forward, step back, forward, step back. Now let's do the extended one. And so with this one, we're going to go slower so we can practice the balance. So from here, when we step back onto the right foot, I want you to grip the ground, pull with the left side. The right hand is counterbalancing. So this movement between the hands working together and everything arrives at the same time. So we pull, transfer, kick and pull at the same time, all of this happening simultaneously. So let's practice. Forward, step back, grip, connect, kick, and then forward. Air funk on there, step back, grip the ground, 2 circles. You can think of it as 3 circles if you add the knee, right? Something like this. Forward, step back, solid center, everything's moving. Let's do this. If I'm facing the camera, if I have power coming in from one side, if I had my arms making this circle. Imagine like a conveyor belt. If I grab something with my left hand, I'm going to transfer it to my right in the center and pull it this way. So we just have these two circles. And the contact point is at the bottom of this circle. So we're pulling here and the top of this circle. So if you watch, it's a yin-yang, right? If we make these two circles like two halves of a yin-yang, just like this, just like grasp the sparrow's tail and ward off in the beginning, except now they're timed the same way, right? So breathing slowly, just from the elbows, just turning. Keep the same pattern. You can go slow. Grab something with your left hand. In the middle, transfer it to your right, carry it across. Now on the halfway, grab something, transfer it to the other side. So as if it's a handoff, there's just two circles. This is, by the way, mechanically, this becomes like two cogs. The other person sticks their hand or their foot or their weapon in between the two cogs. It gets picked up on the edge of one cog and gets traveled around to the outside edge of the other cog. So we make this really long distance for their arm to travel, but in a very small space. We make these two circles. So now imagine if you're standing and when you step back, gripping the foot, you pull with the left hand and you're going to hand it to the right hand, and then the right hand is going to extend all the way back here. Does it feel better? Does it feel different? Let's try a couple of those slowly. When we make mistakes, when we go too quickly, step back, connect with the left hand, transfer to the right hand, pull with the right hand, kick with the left foot. And the left hand, what is it doing? It can block. If I have an opponent, if the opponent is coming forward and I step back, and this is, by the way, these hands are always in the center. So when I'm here, you see the center line of my jacket. When I'm here, I can stay in the center. This transfers in the center and comes back out to the center. So it's not out here somewhere. My opponents, we're facing the center line. So here, transfer, kick. So this other hand can block. We can cover their vision. If they have a fist, we can move it out of the way. And if they're still there, we can put some fingers to swipe the fingers to the eyes, whatever application you can think of. Let's go 3 more times and then we're going to start walking. So breathing, step back, grip, 2 circles, 2 cogs, connect the left side, connect the right side, extend. Breathing deep, relax. Twice more. Step back, pull down, turn the circle, pull up and turn the circle. Breathing, step back, connect, catch, kick. So now from the extended one, if whether we do the longer version or whether we do the shorter variation of it, hopefully that lighting will be a little bit better. Even if we just do from here and we do this short version, the left foot is up. And so we're going to use that left foot to turn. Now, I'm going to distinguish TC's form from some other Yang style forms, because in some forms, they have this thing where they turn, right? Some Yang style forms. After they do this, once they do this pull and kick, they actually use this foot to turn in place before they do the other one. The problem with that is, all right, and this is one thing that TC started incorporating the Bagua into this Tai Chi form, is because if you're my opponent, if I'm facing the camera in this direction and power is coming towards me and I do something and then I need to turn, I'm not moving anywhere, right? So I'm bound to get hit or pushed or knocked to the side or something. So one solution I've seen, if you study, some people here are with Master Yun, which I recommend studying with him. In the Yang style, they practice after they have the pull and kick, they're actually spinning outwards. But that spin has an outer turn. We're going to add to that by increasing the step. We're going to add a few footsteps to do some Bagua. So let's go from the beginning. And we're going to use the direction as the direction. So if I'm going west and I step back, I make my pull and my kick also go to the west. Now when I turn, I take 3 steps. 1, 2, 3 steps. Now my left foot is also aligned to the west, and we repeat the same movement on the other side. So don't worry, this is a confusing one. We're going to repeat it a bunch of times until we understand. We got another 13 minutes. So, by the way, questions, comments, you can blurt them out anytime. Starting from 2 wings in the air, we'll go slow, stepping back, connect with the left side, kick with the left side, and now stepping left, 1, the right foot turning, 2, the left foot turning again to face west, 3, and now we connect with the right side, kick with the right side. Let's repeat that. We're going to do it a few times. Air, foam, 1 air. And then we'll make it more fluid. For now, we'll just break it into steps. Step back, circles, and kick. Take 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, pull right, kick right. Let's go again. So for each turn, you have to turn just over 100 degrees when you pull and kick. From here, over 90 degrees, over 90 degrees, because we're turning 360. And this circle, by the way, it can't be too big or too small. As we mentioned, if I have an opponent, if the circle is too small, if my opponent's here and I try to turn, I'm going to get hit. If I try to walk too far away, if we're facing each other and I'm doing bagua, if I try to go here, there's an opportunity for the opponent to gain power and momentum to push. So you have to go at the speed at which, if they pursue you, that you can turn. And that gets into the handwork. We're going to get into a little bit of Tai Chi psychology and stuff. Let's repeat the stepping a few more times. So from 2 wings in the air, step back. The arms are always circling. Connect. Turn. 1, 2, 3, kick. Back from air, foam, 1 air. I know that part gets cut off, but so that we can focus on the other part here. Stepping back, connect left, kick left, 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, pull left, or pull right, kick right. Yes.
What are you doing with your hands as you're circling, and are you trying to create that same circular handoff on the second side as well as the first?
Yeah, so let me see if I get this right. You're asking about what the hands are doing during the transition. Because what they're going to do is... okay, so let's go back to this one. If we're just turning this circle, right? If we're just making from the elbows, this is actually going to happen 3 times. So I connect left, transfer, kick, and then during the transition, another one as if I'm covering, and then for the last kick, a 3rd one. So this circling, and for Charlotte, you're studying with Master Su, Master Yun, they're doing this as one of the Chansi warm-ups. For us, we're incorporating it into the Tai Chi form. So if I'm here, if you watch, 1 circle, and then when I step, 2 circles, and then when I kick, 3 circles, right? So this circle like this happening 3 times. Let's find out where in the second one is hidden in the step. So without doing the turning exercise, just imagine somebody's in front of you. Maybe they have a weapon, maybe they have a gun. And the idea is to confuse the opponent by doing some turning. So if the opponent's right in front of you, the first thing I want to do is cover my head, right? I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get shot. If this here. And it's also, you can put the hands up, oh no, right? So when the guy's there, don't shoot. I've already started turning, like I want to run away, right? We may even change our posture to look like we're more afraid. So we're standing right in front of the danger, and Tai Chi is a lot of psychology. So the first one is to give the opponent some feeling that we're actually afraid. We're not. We're just simply going to change. So when we turn like this and go to cover our head, it looks like we're running away. And then we can turn back and face the opponent once they start to enter our space. So while we're here, we say, oh no, don't do that. I'm turning. But then I turn again, and I can control the opponent. What happens if you're really pursuing somebody and they go to turn away, you start to chase. And as soon as they chase, that's why we have to be close enough to stick to their center. So now with that in mind, let's practice just turning just with the hands. So if your power is coming from your camera or something, you can turn 1, 2, 3. Just this same movement that we did. But whether you put your hands up like don't shoot, right? You just, okay, I'm doing whatever you say. The person says, give me your wallet. You say, okay, cool, right? You can do this with the turning and still have your power. Your hands are ready at the guard. And whether you turn this way, and this also goes into, you can use this shape to get into the other person's gait and control their extension, whether it's an arm or weapon, whatever it is, right? So this one can be this one, how many here in school like doing homework? Okay, nobody's raising their hands, right? Somebody's raising their hands. It's the smartest among us obviously enjoy. So that said, Tai Chi is an investment in yourself. And there's homework to do every day. This kind of circle walking that we're gonna keep working on for the next 7-8 minutes has a benefit. There was a Chinese Kung Fu master named Li Ziming, and he said walking is the master of hundreds of exercises. There are hundreds of exercises not as good as simply walking. So you can use it in a straight line, but he was a Bagua master, so he was of course talking about walking in a circle. When sometimes it's not safe. Hundreds of years ago, when some of these martial arts were developed, it was not safe to walk outside in China because there's wild animals, bandits, all different types of things. So walking inside your home in a circle is okay. Let's practice. So if we do 2 winds in the air, we step back, pull to connect, and then we think that our opponent is still coming from the west. So we turn off the center line, and then we turn one more time, 3 steps to make the full circle, connect and kick. And then the next one is block, punch, kick. It comes out of it naturally. So this turning of the forearms, if we go back, how many remember this exercise that we practice here called Chansi? If you sit your tailbone down and like you're sliding it across the bench, keep it relaxed, keep your spine straight. Like it's on a track. The old style car seats that aren't electronic have the bar, so make your tailbone as relaxed and easy to transfer between the feet as that sliding tray. And we're turning the forearms the whole time. In the beginning of the class, we had talked about the Tai Chi principles. And we need to embody these because those are static Tai Chi principles. We also have principles for movement. One of them is the forearms are turning at all times. There's never a movement where the arms stop turning. The same is true for the waist, or at least if it does stop turning, we have at least 1 waist turn in every posture. Many times there's 2. It's a 1, 2, right? We have 1, 2. So this kind of movement, this kind of turning with both the waist and the forearms coordinated together in Chinese has a name. It's called Chansi. And this is the simple definition of it is silk reeling or silk turning. And this is the idea when Caterpillar is making the silk, right? The same as if you have a kite and you wind the kite, or if you know how cotton candy gets made, you don't want to pull the thread too quickly. That's why Tai Chi's practiced at a certain speed. Too fast becomes a different kind of Kung Fu. But if we're doing the Qigong, you'll have a certain type of torque that's happening inside the body, even though it's relaxed. So now when we think about that Chansi, the turning of the forearms, if you see from Air Feng Guan Air, my arms are turned, they unwind the other way to catch here, and then I close them. And then when I turn, I open them again to catch, and then I close to transfer, and then I reopen. So this hand's turning the entire time. So it may be a misnomer if we just practice this kind of circling because we have to be doing this turning the whole time, from the hands as well. And to make it even more complex, try to keep them in line with your forearms. So it's not here, so we're not doing this one. That's a different exercise. You can practice the entire form with your palms set to 90 degrees. If you like to practice, you can practice grasp the sparrow's tail and ward off this way. It's a different stretch. But for this one, we want to keep this fluid because we're going to use that turning as the opponent's power comes to us. We can use that turning to slide around it and connect to it. So this turning of the forearm becomes very essential for the martial art later for the sensitivity. Let's just walk in a circle. So pick a spot that's your center somewhere. And if you step, every time your step is going to be angled, but I want you to imagine your hips are connected to a bar to the center of the circle, so that they always staying level and parallel to that center. And your feet always staying parallel to the circular track that's on the outside. By the way, this is Li Ziming also wrote, this is cricket rubbing exercise, cricket rubbing its legs. So you want at least your inner thighs to your knees to connect and rub every time you walk. There's a Qigong element of creating friction and static. This activates your urinary bladder channel in the center or on the backs of the legs, and also kidney meridian, which is on the inside of the legs. And by the way, if you get dizzy, change directions. Stay around the center point. This is a little bit advanced. By the way, this kind of walking is a powerful Qigong. So letting the legs rub, keeping the feet as close together as you can. You can slide the foot even past the heel, or the ankle. So when I'm literally rubbing my legs to step each all the way, like you're scraping them together, cricket rubbing its legs together technique. And you can change this circle. Try to make it in fewer steps. Make it smaller. You can turn your head, keep your spine straight. This is where it gets complex because all the Tai Chi principles apply. Don't look towards the ground. Keep your chin up and turning. Change the other direction. Balance it out if you get too dizzy. Let's actually stop and take a break for a second. I don't want anybody to get too dizzy. Even if anybody, it doesn't matter. If you haven't practiced this kind of circle walking, it can make you dizzy. If you have that type of thing, grip your feet, make the chi from, instead of going up here, making you dizzy, activate your legs and your lower body to bring it back to the base. Before we continue, we have just a minute or two left. Does anyone have any questions, thoughts, comments? We can come back to this posture. Yeah, Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just curious to see the 360 step move done at, close to full speed if we were using it for application. Can you demonstrate?
I have a bag here, but it's set to that camera. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can turn off this camera in OBS, maybe something like this. Yeah, so if we have a bag, this is a good example. There's somebody, they're here in front of us, and maybe they have a weapon, maybe they're more powerful than us. I'm sorry if there's some distance between the camera, but this is what we can do. The first thing I'm gonna do is when I'm here, by the way, these are two separate things. The first one is one opponent. We've dispatched that opponent. When the second one is coming is when we start to turn, as if we're afraid and we're gonna run away. So I've just dispatched one opponent with the first pole kick. And here comes the second one. My foot's still in the air from the other guy, right? You can't see it because of the camera. So when I turn, I'm here, and we have this. So this idea is, after I've dealt with somebody, I'm going to turn, pole, kick, right? I have to make my kick a little higher for that one.
So you can make the 360 circle very tight.
It's as tight as it needs to be. You'll know based on when your opponent moves. Because remember, does everyone know how to win at tic-tac-toe every time? I'll teach you the secret. It's very easy. Let your opponent go first. At least you can not lose at tic-tac-toe every time. You may not win, but if you let the other guy go first, you can always block his route and you can never lose. So the same, after we've dispatched one target, when the opponent is coming, I want to let him move first by feigning running away. And so he's going to change his direction. The opponent is going to, imagine if you play, there's birds that do this too. They pretend like they're injured, they can't fly, and they lure the predator away from their nest, and then they fly away. So the same, we're faking our opponent. Oh no, don't attack. And then we have a better advantage by which once they commit, they see us start to flee, they commit, and we can turn very easily to and this is something that would be great if we could do in person, because seeing how it happens. Maybe we'll get a training dummy in here. I don't know, maybe after some months in 2021, we can have people working together or do some videos outside, something like that, one-to-one. Questions, thoughts, comments?
That was helpful.
We're a little bit, yeah, continue. If you have questions, you can just blurt them out. In the meantime, let's do some breathing to close. So turning from one side or the other, doesn't matter. Reaching out, stretch all the way to the top and exhaling. But just like our gas tank, never run fully out of gas. You can top up all the way, even overfill with the lungs, but never below 2 to 5% on the exhale. 110% on the inhale. Just let everything relax on the way out. Make it a stretch. And because we're coming up on time, we're going to change directions. So once you reach the bottom at the other side, breathing deep, change directions, coming up on this side now, turning at least 180. Lock your knees in place so that legs aren't twisting. Feel everything in your spine turning around the center. The longest, deepest breathing of the week. 2 more. And on the last one, let your hands float. See if you can feel the chi underneath them supporting. Let that lightweight feeling in your fingers and hands extend all the way through your body. Bring everything back to the center. Closing the eyes, never more than 99% when meditating. Move your mind into the Dantian. Take a deep breath, smiling to yourself internally. Take a second to give thanks to yourself for yourself. One long, last deep breath. That's it. Thanks. It's about 4 minutes past, so if you got to go, it's time. Questions, thoughts, comments, feel free to email me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks.
Brian, bye.
See you.